Hey guys, it's History Behind the Warrior, and today we're going to be talking about what had happened to Deathstroke, as well as my own personal theory on where he is during the placement of Injustice 2, as well as why he's not in fact in the game. So to bring him up to date, I'll be talking about his first appearance, starting from the Injustice comic books, beginning with Year 5, and from that point onwards we'll be going through Year 5 into Injustice Gods Among Us, and then talk about his ladder ending, which could be a tease as to what he's doing between the time of Injustice 1 to Injustice 2. Anyway, on that note, let's actually get started. During the events of Year 5 of the comic books, the war between the regime and insurgency is still currently going on, and the insurgency have very few members left, with many either being killed or having turned themselves in to prevent their own murder. Now Bruce, during this time, believing that the only way that he could in fact battle this regime now was to get help from an alternate universe, but he lacked the requirements to actually make a machine to actually do this. You see, they acquired some energy from the Speed Force from Barry Allen, but they required a very specific item, a mother box from Star Lab, which was heavily guarded. Bruce knew that this was suicide if he went there by himself, but he knew someone that would be up to the job if they were paid the right amount of money. Bruce would go out and seek Slade Wilson, and we learned from this little conversation between the two that due to the hold that the regime now has over the world, it's forced Deathstroke to in fact go into retirement. He's a man who in fact loves his job, but with how the world is and the stakes it's at, he did go into retirement until Bruce told him about this last kind of suicide mission, not being able to put down the thrill of the hunt. Deathstroke would pick up his suit once again and be prepared to dive into the belly of the beast. Now once he was inside Star Labs, it was very easy for him to get the mother box he needed. He killed hundreds of guards with relative ease. That is until he came across a superpowered being that was also guarding Star Lab, Metamorpho. Now the metahuman does put up quite the fight, but Deathstroke is, well, Deathstroke. He's able to outsmart and kill this metahuman, but he was eventually overpowered when Raven and Cyborg got involved. Now although he somewhat failed his mission, he sent out the digital layout and schematics of the mother box to Bruce so that he could actually make his own mother box to save this universe. Now let's cut all the way to Injustice Gods Among Us. When we do meet Deathstroke, he's being held captive by Raven and Cyborg, as we learn that Clark wants to recruit Deathstroke into his ranks, but Slade refuses to do so and will not be a puppet of the regime. Now Green Lantern from the other parallel universe is in fact able to find him, defeat Raven and Cyborg and free him, where he'd then mysteriously disappear and later resurface and work for the insurgency, as he wanted to get his own back for them basically torturing him. So during his and Cyborg's assault on the Watchtower to just get codes, he'd seek out members of the regime on there and personally take them out one by one. This includes Shazam, Flash, Wonder Woman and Killer Frost, and when you think he can't top that off, he set the Watchtower's reactor core to critical and was responsible for it being destroyed. Jesus Christ, dude. He then acquires a weapon for Lex Luthor to use against Superman during the climax of the battle, with the hopes that it will defeat the Man of Steel. But this is the last time we actually do hear of Deathstroke within the main continuity. So what does the end of Injustice Gods Among Us spell for the character? Well, if we look at his arcade ladder ending, which you can take with a grain of salt, but most likely has some form of validity to it, after the regime falls apart and Superman is in prison, Deathstroke is once again able to become the world's best assassin once more. But here's the nice little twist. He seeks out members from the regime's army and recruits them into a group that will assassinate corrupt politicians and any other members of society that had a target on them. Because as you see, when Superman went into prison and the world started rebuilding its foundation once again, business was now at an all-time high. So many of you are wondering, what's the validity of this, as arcade ladders don't necessarily mean too much, but do have foreshadowing element. Well, I believe quite a bit of this is canon. Deathstroke, as we've seen from the comics, is very passionate about his mercenary lifestyle. He even said at one point that he never should have taken the costume off. It's clearly a job he loves. So would something like this be outside the realm of possibility? No, not at all actually. And from what we see in Injustice 2, the world is clearly not in a state that it can really start building itself back up again properly. The Luthor Wayne charity being pure evidence of this. So Deathstroke would most likely be on the run here and doing jobs along with the rest of his mercenary team. Now in saying that, what's the main reason for Deathstroke not appearing within Injustice 2? And this is where I'm going to stray from canon and story-wise stuff. I have two words for you. Suicide Squad, the movie. Okay, that's two extra words, but still, that is the point I'm trying to make here. If you hadn't watched my previous video where I talked about the use of cross-promotion, then you won't really understand what I'm talking about here. But cross-promotion is basically where you put a product in something else to help well promote it, and that's the treatment that Injustice 2 had got. As you see, the Suicide Squad film dropped on the 5th August 2016. The official trailer for Harley Quinn and Deadshot, who were both two members of of the Suicide Squad dropped August 17th, 2016. And you could say that this is all just a coincidence, which it could really just be. But again, I'll refer back to my previous video and how Warner Brothers are notorious for cross-promotion, especially when it comes to games and films, so I'm not at all surprised that they replaced Deathstroke with Deadshot. And I know that might be a very strong kind of opinion to put out there, but in terms of popularity, Deathstroke by far is a fan favorite, having his own comic book line, which is something I don't believe that Deadshot has. I could be wrong about that, but Deathstroke is most certainly a force to be reckoned with, and if anything, now stands as more of an anti-hero than he did as a villain, and that's vastly due to his massive popularity. Deadshot was shoehorned into Injustice to obviously make the game sell more copies through the promotion of the Suicide Squad. But anyway, that's kind of it for this video. Hopefully this has cleared up some stuff about Slade, as he was originally my main in the first Injustice game, and is one of my favorite comic book characters of all time. Now what do you think Slade is doing during Injustice 2, since the arcade ending gives us a little hint at what he may be doing, but of course it's an arcade ending, so do take it with a grain of salt. Now before this video wraps up guys, if possible, let's try getting this video to about 500 likes. It's a great way of supporting this channel, as YouTube's ad system is broken as hell right now, so by giving it a thumbs up it helps out a ton. Now as always guys, please comment, like, subscribe and share this video with everyone you know. Please take care and I'll see you all next time.